The Craft is a 1996 supernatural teen drama horror film directed by Andrew Fleming. It stars Fairuza Balk, Robin Tunney, sorry if I'm saying these names wrong, Nev Campbell, and Rachel True. It has since grown into a cult classic, but is it still deserving of this title? Let's find out. The plot of this film revolves around a group of outcast girls, all played by True, Balk, and Campbell, who have formed an amateur coven together. For a while, their magic has had no effect, but that all changes when they meet the new girl, Sarah Bailey, played by Tunney, and realize that she has supernatural powers. So, realizing they need one more witch for their coven and seeing her potential, they let her in. Now, the group's spells are beginning to finally work. Nancy is finally able to use magic to achieve great wealth. Bonnie is able to get rid of scarring on her back. Rochelle is able to get back at a racist bully who tormented her for being black every day. And Sarah is able to get a guy to fall in love with her. But then the girls start to get a little carried away with their power, and it only seems to be getting worse despite Sarah insisting that they should stop, and that this will all eventually, at some point, come back at them. So, thinking that she has betrayed her coven, the group begins to torment Sarah. This is a really cool premise. It's not exactly original today, but at the time, combining elements of witchcraft with teen drama was a novel concept. A story like this could be explored in so many ways, and they do that very well with the execution. Part of what makes this plot so engaging is the endless possibilities of what those girls could do with said magic. I give premise a B+, very engaging. Next is acting. Acting for the most part was good. The way these girls interact with each other feels very authentic and makes it seem like they have known each other for a while. But I especially have to give credit to Fairuza Balk and Robin Tunney. The way Fairuza portrayed an outcast girl going mad from the power she got was so realistic that it was almost scary. As she gets more and more powerful, she almost treats it like an addiction and goes more and more mad because of it and starts to abuse it more and more. And Fairuza's performance is part of what made all of this so strong, because there was times when her character would just become so raging mad to the point where she would start shaking, like in the scene where she uses her magic on Chris at the party. Kudos to Balk for having such a menacing performance. And let's not forget Robin Tunney. Her performance as a shy, quiet girl in a new school felt so real. When she first moves into the school, she's to herself a lot, barely speaks to anyone, and is very soft-spoken. And this is part of what made her performance feel so authentic. I remember every time back when I was in school, when someone just moved to it, a lot of them would have the same demeanor. So she nailed that portrayal immensely. But her strongest performance was when she was being threatened by her coven. The fear she conveys feels so genuine that you actually feel somewhat horrible for her because of how scared she truly is. She even begins crying in some areas, which I feel like performers in horror films should try to do a little more, because when someone is scared, they don't always scream. They sometimes might start crying due to how overwhelming their situation is, and the fear of what may happen to them. So her crying made her terror feel so much more real. I give acting a B+. Good for the most part, but Robin and Fairuza absolutely blew me away. Next is special effects, and despite how cheesy they were in some areas, such as with the lightning effects in some scenes, they still managed to impress me. There were a lot of scenes in this film that literally made me think to myself, damn, for the 90s, that is impressive. Especially with the scenes where dark thunderclouds would be in the mirrors, and the scene where Sarah comes out of the mirror, or when Nancy was walking in the water. There was not one instance where you could tell these moments were fake, so despite how dated some of these effects were, they still managed to seem very real in some scenes. I give special effects a B+. Now, the cinematography was alright, wasn't really anything that blew me away, but one thing I was truly impressed by was the scenes where they were performing the rituals. The way they were framed, it was just so good that I could not help but admire them. I especially love the cinematography used in this picture that I'm showing here. Other than that, the cinematography was just decent. I give cinematography a B. Finally, directing. Andrew Fleming weaved this story in such a spellbinding, pardon the pun, way. Part of what made this film so engaging was his direction, which I definitely feel helped with the overall tone of the movie. He had such a clear vision for the film that it stays more than consistent throughout the film's run. Not much else to say, but it was pretty good. He clearly wanted to create a film not just about witchcraft, but also about peer pressure and social isolation, and he more than did that. I give directing a B+. Overall, aside from the strong messages about peer pressure, this film is for the most part just campy, witchy fun. It has some really awesome characters that you could easily relate to, despite, the fact that they eventually go insane with power. Especially if you ever experienced social isolation. It does have some flaws, but the storytelling and characters more than make up for that. I give The Craft a B+. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and sub for more content.